It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Benny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Back at it again. These weeks are flying by. Cats Talk Wednesday, BS3 Network. Terry Omaha Brown, because his Twitter page says so. Vinny Hardy. TB, man, we said it last week. We haven't seen everything. We seen a lot. We haven't seen everything, and we seen the Cats make history because they headed to Omaha for the first time ever. So
yeah, and they did it by silencing one of the big boys. Not Oklahoma State, Oregon State was a great team, but 3 hits over the 2 games? I mean, that's sitting them down, right? That is ridiculous. That is setting records at the super regional level. So this team, this Kentucky baseball team, as we talked about with Jeff Drummond last week, they were built for this. And here they are. They will play their first ever College World Series game Saturday. And I'll be there.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You've been saying it for weeks. You've been saying it.
I told the wife once they got that hot start, I was like, look, if they make it to Omaha, I got to go. Like, I got to.
Yes.
And Omaha is only 2 hours away. And so one of her friends reached out, that's got connections in Omaha. So we're gonna do it right, man.
See, look at there. You say, if I do it right, you mean you gonna be?
I will be in a box. Yes, I will not be. Yeah. Because his thing was, hey, if you want to sit down there, we can make that happen. But I'm like, it's gonna be hot. I'm cool. I'm gonna get there early, and I'm gonna go to the tailgating areas, and they got a whole thing for the College World Series. I'm gonna do all that, but I can't be sitting out in the sun.
So, first question: did you go through Nebraska going to Boise? And 2, have you been to Omaha since you've been in Iowa already?
No. My father-in-law lives in a city close to the border between Iowa and Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
We drove through Nebraska to get there. We actually went through Omaha, and the first night we stayed in Lincoln.
Oh, how far is that from Omaha?
I don't know. Like, all I know is the worst drive I've ever been on is driving all the way across Nebraska. Like, I-80 through Nebraska is just, and it was, we drove through there. It was March, so it's just, there ain't nothing. It's gray. Like, it's just
dreary.
Check the GPS. Stay on I-80 for 7 hours. Like, just come on, man. Or what is it? The mileage? Like, how are we not making any time? And there's nothing to see. At least when you get to Wyoming, there's stuff to see. Off to the side, but Nebraska, there was nothing. It's just nothing. It was bad.
Just straight flat road. That's it.
Just straight flat and just nothing. There's nothing to see. The scenery isn't great, so I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, only 2 hours away, so I was glad to make that happen. And I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna take some pictures and I'm gonna share some stuff.
Yeah.
And
Michelle's son might be out there too. Cool.
Okay, I'm just planning to do Saturday. It just worked out that way, so I'm gonna do that first game. I got to, right? I gotta. I've seen the Cats in the Final Four and bowl games and big things, but College World Series. We've been to the Women's College World Series with the softball team.
Mm-hmm.
We've played on New Year's Day bowls. Volleyball team has competed. We've talked about the run that the track team has had and the gymnastics team, but this is just another thing. All Cats, everything, man.
Absolutely. Like you said, everybody that was picking Kentucky is, yeah, they wanna. It was this. It was always just a tinge of but they really wasn't taking them seriously. Oh, okay, they tied with Tennessee for the SEC. Oh, okay, all right. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
then they well, then when they lose to LSU, well, that's probably that's more like what we thought because LSU is becoming LSU, and now we get Oregon State down year for them. But like you already said, they had won it 3 times in this century, and
Yeah.
Travis Banana was hitting like 490, 500, whatever coming in, second pick in the draft and all this stuff. And hey, they just keep
It,
proving people wrong. I watch the SEC network. I like watching, especially when your teams are good.
oh yeah, yeah,
I like I like the SEC now when football's going 9-3 and they leave with Alabama and Georgia, but not too long into every show they talking about Kentucky when Kentucky's winning, and it's just feel, we've been beat down in football a lot, so it feel good to be. Oh, look, we get talked about early in the show. We're not getting talked about at the end like Vanderbilt. Cool. So, same thing with baseball. This,
it,
been watching SEC now, and you got Todd Walker, and you got David DeLucia. You got the brother from LSU, Jared Carter, or something like that. But
mm-hmm.
every, it's always, Tennessee is great. They hit 15 home runs a game. They're blah blah blah. And they got all these draft picks. Kentucky, you can just feel it in their voice. They're good. Nathan Jones is doing a lot of good things, and they play that small ball, and and they had it. And you saw me tweet it out because I don't really call people out a lot. The 5 teams in the SEC that were going to the regionals, and they said the most vulnerable. Who's the most vulnerable? And Todd, I knew it. I was like, both of them probably gonna say it, but my man Carter's picked Florida, which they proved him wrong too. But Todd Walker, Kentucky. There's Oregon State's tradition and their power and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. That's a tough draw. If he said tough draw for Kentucky once, he said it 10 times. That's a tough draw. And lo and behold, as you say, yay, verily it came to pass.
After giving up 8 runs to Western Michigan in
Yeah.
that first game, it was lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was great. The winning run, the difference run was on that passed ball, strikeout, man scoring from second base. That is awesome. That is awesome base running. Right. And that's the kind of pressure that they put on. That's what Jeff was talking about last week, and folks smarter than myself have been saying about this team. I'm glad we got the monkey off the back to be the one SEC team to never make the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And it had me thinking, as recently as like 6 or 7 years ago, a lot of the fans of my hometown school would keep count of how long it's been since Kentucky beat an SEC opponent in football on the road, how long it had been since Kentucky had posted a winning SEC football record, right? And, they've never been to the College World Series. All this and this and this. And we don't talk about that no more.
Yeah.
All that's done. We just competing now. What I put out after Sunday, the Sunday into Monday game, I covered the Cats and the Cards in the 2017 Super Regional. At Louisville. Louisville goes to Omaha. And I just remember in that press conference with Coach Nick saying, Omaha is our goal. And then it looked shaky for a little bit for Coach Nick. But as I said, I believed him then, and I damn sure believe him now.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic. This is great. As we've said, with the teams and the coaches, this year athletically has been great, but next year could be the year of the Cat.
That's it.
I believe football is going to be better. I believe men's and women's basketball we'll be better. I think we'll have and by better for men's basketball, I think we won't lose in the first round.
Right.
Right. So there's that. Gymnastics is a machine. Volleyball is a machine. It's all cats everything, man. It is all cats everything. So for me, I'm excited.
You mentioned Coach Madison when we had him on, and all that he did, from 70, 79 to 03, almost quarter century as the baseball coach. Not as much funds, allocated to the program when he was coaching, and he still, 700 wins and
Yeah.
got to the finals of the SEC tournament in '95, and then in '88 made it to the finals of the Super Regional, I think. But made a deep run at various different times. But you mentioned with Coach Men's, focusing everything on Omaha, even the new stadium, Kentucky Proud Park is a big park, and its dimensions are similar to Charles Schwab Stadium out there in Omaha. So just the fact that you're playing in a stadium that's plays similar to Omaha, which is the ultimate goal. So
and again, a lot of people, mostly fans of my hometown school, a lot of jokey jokes when Coach Min said Omaha's our goal. Same way they had a lot of jokey jokes when Kentucky football said, "Hey, we want to get in the CFP in those rankings." And then the one year they were in those rankings. I mean, I know eventually we didn't make the playoff, but you have to set those big goals, right? I mean, that's the big goals, and you have those little ones. Those little goals that you have to reach to get to that point. And so I'm excited. I thought about maybe trying to get credential, but I'm like, no, I need to take this in as a fan, man. This is going to be ridiculous.
Absolutely. Well, we've been talking all things blue. We got all things red in the BS3 Network Green Room. Friend of the show, drops knowledge every single time. Look, we've had him on to talk football, had him on to talk basketball. His Wolfpack, men and women, just made a run to their respective Final Fours. Here they are in the College World Series. Kentucky and NC State have went back and forth a few times over these past few years in some various different sports. We're talking about our guy, Coach David Davis, former Wolfpack wide receiver. Triple D, man, what's happening?
Hey guys, what's going on? A whole bunch of blue going on over there. I see.
Just a little bit,
We figured, we're better to have you on to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. You did forget something. Yeah, great. Final Four teams by the Wolfpack. World Series now, but also you forgot about the bowl game we played in too. So we're on probably one of the biggest runs any college sports athletic program has had, with the success of the major sports in recent memory, to be honest with you.
This is a pretty good. I was going to say this is a pretty good year for the Wolfpack. With everything that they've been able to accomplish. Pretty good things going on in Raleigh.
Yeah, and I can say too, if you dig, lift the veil up, a lot of it has to do with the alumni base and their contributions to the program, athletic department, the money that's brought in there, and I can speak on that directly because. It's weird, when I was getting recruited at NC State, the recruiting coordinator was a guy named Bobby Purcell. He was recruiting coordinator. Looking ahead, 40 years later, he just retired a few years ago as the executive director of the Wolfpack program. And he had mentioned that the Wolfpack program was top 5 in the nation in fundraising for about 7 straight years at one time. So, here in the South, and you're in the South too, but in North Carolina, it's not only about a Duke and Carolina thing. The Wolfpack they do raise money. And, it takes, if you raise that kind of money, it's not going to be immediately felt in some regards when it comes to athletics in the program, but there are certain down the road things that'll be felt. And I think this year is one of those effects of things that have happened in the past 5 years when it comes to fundraising. At any university, actually.
So were you
and not just the amount, but it looks like they've invested, in the facilities, obviously. But that key is the coaches, right? And getting the right coaches in place to lead those programs. And now here you are.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Brown. That you got to realize, like a guy like Coach Keats for basketball, he made this run. He got extra what $500,000, dollars just bonus money. So it's going to be, and then he's going to probably get a new contract. It's going to be tough for another school to step in and offer him, a lot more money to leave there. So yeah, they do pour in, the boosters pour in, alumni pour in, but like you said, it does make a difference with our facilities there and being able to pay coaches their worth. Coach Dorn has got a huge contract, the football coach. Baseball coach has been there forever. He's been there for a while. And as a matter of fact, these names, when I was there playing, Coach Esposito was there, and then Ray Tanner. He used to be the head coach at NC State. And he got pulled away by South Carolina and actually became their athletic director. But Ray Tanner used to be a baseball coach at NC State.
Wow, I did not know that. Sure did. So, for the baseball team this year, were you thinking Omaha from the jump, or was it one of those kind of surprise you? How's it?
Very surprised, Vinny, because the ACC was loaded this year. I mean, as you can see now. Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, NC State, and Clemson just got knocked out, by Florida. But it was really, really, really strong baseball in the ACC. Duke even made a run there with, in the regionals. But, sometimes the greatest joy is not having that expectation and achieving. It sometimes, as you guys know, with Kentucky basketball back in the day, you guys, you were going to win a championship. We're going to win a championship. When you did, it was no big deal. But when you don't have expectations and you win, it's something. It brings a little bit more to the table about the excitement. So that's the state that I'm in, and watching the games has been wonderful. I watched a majority of the baseball and softball games, actually. NCAA games, which were all thrilling, but the ACC teams did make a big impact and are still making a big impact on the road to Omaha.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all SEC and ACC. We must do something different down here in the Southeast. and what I tell folks is like, oh, SEC, ACC, all you got to do is beat them. If you don't want an all ACC, SEC, all you got to do is beat them.
I totally agree. And you know what? We do a little bit more than play football down here in the South.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. And like, it's an old saying, you don't want guys dancing in the end zone. Don't let them get in there.
Exactly. You don't want an SEC team there? Beat them. You don't want an ACC team? Beat them. It's on the field. All you got to do is do it.
You got to do it. And you know what? Something, watching the game as a former baseball player, fan, athlete, I just think the ACC and SEC baseball players show more enthusiasm during the games and seemed a little bit more focused than I'd seen out of some of the other conference teams, during games. The intensity, that's the word I'm looking for. I think the SEC and ACC teams on the baseball field just showed more intensity and focus during the regional, super regionals. And I think that's a telling point, like I said, with having 4 teams from the ACC and as many teams in the SEC, playing today.
You done a lot of stuff.
Point you bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vinny, go ahead.
I was saying,
Coach Davis, you had a great point there, because we had a friend of ours that covers the baseball team, and they lost to, was it Kennesaw State or something like that, Vinny, earlier in the season?
Yeah, lost the series.
He said the bench was dead, the crowd was dead, and they made that decision. No, we are going to be enthusiastic from first pitch to last out, and that has kind of translated to them making this run.
Yeah, good point.
Absolutely, that was like the crossroads, turning point kind of moment, and they bring their own energy, whether the crowd's dead or not. And you'll see Saturday, the dugout, when they do dugout shots, they'll be impersonating the coach, Coachman Jones at third base. They'll be impersonating his mannerisms.
Yeah,
there'll be bubble gum, hat, rally caps. It's all it's been this to the point where it's some opposing teams are wanting to, snarling and kind of talking about it or having, bumping their gums about it.
Mhm.
And, it's you just worry about yourself. But we doing us over here. But
You're exactly right. And it was good. I thought it was a great atmosphere watching the Carolina LSU games. Those were intense games, but they were, the Florida Clemson games where coaches get ejected, that type of enthusiasm between the ACC and SEC teams was wonderful, even when they weren't playing each other, but in other series. And it was telling. The crowds, like I said, the LSU crowds, they're going to bring it no matter what sport it is. If it's tiddlywinks, LSU crowds they're going to be a LSU crowd. But to see the crowd, the LSU crowd, baseball wise, here in Chapel Hill, because Chapel Hill Stadium is very, it's pretty. That's the only word I can. It's a pretty baseball field. Trees overhanging, pine trees, and dogwoods, and all that good stuff. LSU brought that edge to it, and it was good to see that type of environment inside that stadium, and it made the Carolina fans get into it a little bit more. Good to see.
You mentioned the the UNC Stadium. I was going to ask you about the Wolfpack Stadium, the atmosphere, watching the game there. And I only been to Raleigh once, but what's it like for the baseball stadium? You said theirs was pretty. I know you biased to yours.
Let me be careful. The word "pretty" comes from, man, it's almost like the football stadium. It just doesn't have a football sense because, like I said, the dogwood trees overhanging the stadium and pine trees. They got an ordinance that the top level of the stadium can't go over the trees. But it's just aesthetically it's pretty. And the Carolina baseball field is just like that. And it's just something about light blue that doesn't get me aroused for games or anything. So that'll do it. But the NC State Stadium is just well built. It's right beside some dorms on campus. They have a new stadium right beside some dorms on campus, right near a main road, actually. But it's, just red brick, and, red and black everywhere. It has more intense setting than that light blue stuff going on, up the road. I don't get that. But anyway, I regress.
You've done a lot of stuff, David. I mean, from a sports standpoint, been here, been there, done this, seen this. Have you been to Omaha for a College World Series in the past?
I have not been to a College World Series. I went to an exhibition semi-pro game there and seen it. But just sitting there taking it in, you can get the NCAA vibe, so to speak. It's not as big as some of your, semi-pro, like here in Charlotte, Knight Stadium is beautiful and wonderful, right in the middle of downtown. But you get that sense, that college sense sitting in that stadium watching a game. And I was picturing stuff, watching games on TV, picturing stuff. Oh, that happened over there. I'm a nostalgia guy when it comes to sports, and I just pictured, oh yeah, that's when that guy, coming out of the dugout. Because I remember back in the day where Texas used to win, Texas University of Miami. They had great baseball teams that just used to win, World Series, College World Series almost every other year. And some of those things, like Coach Augie at Texas, coming out of the dugout and just things like that. So the setting just brought back some of those memories, seeing things on TV. But it's something about the state of Oklahoma to be hosting says a lot. To host a baseball and softball, championships in that state is huge.
That's it. Now, NC State's made it to the World Series 3 times. This is their 4th time.
Yeah, this is the 4th time. I actually played, I think, Kentucky 3 years ago, maybe. In 2021, I think State won the first game and Kentucky came back and won the next 2. I have to revisit that. I think if I'm correct, but
2017, I think it was men's first year.
Yeah, but I think Coach Tanner was leading those teams. I don't know if it was back when Coach Esposito was there. Okay. But yeah, they do have a history there in Omaha of not winning it, but being there. Mm-hmm. And it's good. Like I said, 4 times for a school like NC State that's not a quote unquote baseball school.
Mhm.
You know, to, like I said, to have something like this unexpectedly happen is huge for us.
Now you're the ACC guy, so you know this even more than us. But Florida State making it 23 times and not ever winning it. I mean,
Yep.
we happy to be here once, but sure, getting there is great. But 23 times and not winning
Yeah.
that's wow, man.
And it seems like they've had the better teams when it's almost like an NBA players playing during the Jordan era. You didn't win. But Florida State made some great runs back in those Texas days that I talked about, but the Miami days that I talked about, where they had good teams. And yeah, I think the coach there, the head coach who had like 1,000 wins plus, he retired about 2 years ago, and I think Coach Mason had taken over, I think. But Florida State has always been the bridesmaid when it comes to winning down there. Knock on wood, I hope this is not the charm for them. I don't mean not unless NC State gets knocked out. I'd love to see an ACC team win, but it's those saying you can't win unless you go.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been there 23 times and not winning, so they've had those chances other schools can't even talk about.
Yeah.
So it's almost like good luck, bad luck. The good luck is we've been 23 times more, probably more than teams combined, but just hadn't won it all.
Yeah, I'm of course going to be hoping the SEC team wins, but I'm not going to lie. I am going to be putting for Florida State against Tennessee because that's
right.
That's the only SEC team I can't.
Yep.
I'm SEC, but
yeah.
I can't vote for them at all, man. So go Noles.
Yeah.
Friday.
Well, I will tell you, Florida State can hit the ball, man. They may give up some runs. Don't get me wrong, but I think they put up 3 touchdowns and a field goal on somebody last week.
Connecticut. Connecticut beat them 24 to something.
Yeah, but Tennessee can pitch too. Tennessee has good pitching. Thing I'm interested to see in all these games is, and this is just me being a baseball guy, I think the winning team is gonna have to have the edge when it comes to the bottom of the lineup. And maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, but 7, 8, 9 for sure. Teams that win have that edge against other teams. If there's 7, 8, 9, there's their own base and scoring runs, crossing the plate. Those are 1 through 5, 1 through 6. You expect things out of them again, like in basketball. Charles Barkley and Shaq talk about the others. Right. In baseball, 7, 8, 9 is considered the others, so to speak. So it's going to be important for those others to on all the teams, if they can win that battle against the 7, 8, 9 batters of the other team, I think they're going to prevail.
Yeah, it's Terry and I talked about it several times. Especially when it's the MLB All-Star game. You'll be watching it. All the heavy hitters have come and gone, and get to the bottom of the ninth, and it'll be, which the Pirates are good this year, but it'll be the Pirates closer against a utility guy for the Royals with the All-Star game on the line. And you're like,
on the line.
Who are these guys?
They just ran through the lineup, and this is what we got left. But as you speaking of LSU, I've enjoyed. I'm a Dodger, but I've enjoyed watching Skeens pitch. I got to see him pitch against the Dodgers, not live, but I was watching. And last night he threw a great game last night too. But he's truly impressive. I don't know the career he had at LSU. Of course, the last year when they won it, his senior year, was great. But to see what he's doing with the baseball now, at the velocities he's throwing in placement, and he's only going to get better because now he's going to get them the pro tips. Maybe not overpowering guys, but painting the paint. The edges is going to be big for him, and I think he's going to do that. So, kudos to him. Shout out to LSU again and SEC for having a guy like him come through.
Hey, I mean, and just to nutshell about what his career was. This year and last year is the first year in the history of Kentucky baseball that they've made it to the Super Regionals back to back. This year was the first year they hosted a Super Regional. All right. So last year made it to the Super Regionals, had to go to Baton Rouge. They had the top 2 picks in the draft in Skeens and Cruz. And so we kind of knew it was going to be tough sledding, and we ended up losing 2 games in a row. So got Mr. Skeens, the eventual national champs. So and
Let me
now
ask you a question.
he went from like AAA. They had him in AAA for like 2 days. Sent him on up to the bigs. He's striking out Shohei, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts.
Wait, watch your mouth. Because he snuck a few by Shohei, but Shohei caught up with one and hit it 500 feet.
So he did.
Tell both. I hate a one-sided story. Tell both sides of the story, dude.
He hung the L on y'all. He's impressive. That's that's kind of the
man.
Shohei got him, but
I'm telling you. Now the team that Kentucky has this year, if I may ask, is it a majority guys who experienced it last year and they're older, or do they have a lot of freshmen and guys who didn't get to play a lot from last year?
About half and half is what Jeff was saying. They've got some guys that kind of went through that. Hey, we got here, we got overmatched, and they had that hunger, but they brought in a lot of guys to supplement. So it's kind of a
Thank you, Michelle.
Michelle loves you. She tweeting about you on Twitter right now and putting love for you in the comments.
I love Michelle too. She's an avid listener, and she's responded with great things on social media also. Thank you, Michelle. Don't let them tag team on me like they're doing. I feel like one of those Saturday wrestling shows back in the day where Ric Flair and Johnny Valentine used to beat up on Wahoo McDaniel by himself. I feel like one of those, Michelle. Thank you. You're my Miss Elizabeth, Michelle. Thank you.
Right. There you go.
What, Danny?
But like TV said, it's kind of half and half. They did a lot of good stuff in the portal. Ryan Nicholson transfers in from Cincinnati. Get 21 home runs, 17 or 18 of those in SEC play. You got Devin Burks, who's the catcher, who's been the rock, who's been through the bad, and now is seeing the good. So like Terry said, it's a little bit of both, but they played the portal really well, and kind of get a lot of bang for their buck. Same thing in football. Got a lot of good guys in the portal, and because it can go either way, but they've had a lot of success, and so it's kind of 50-50.
I think too. I got you, Michelle. Thank you. I think too with the state that this matchup is pretty. I think one came in 7th ranked and 110 from their supers. I think Kentucky has the edge as far as rankings concerned, and look at batting, pitching, fielding. It's really pretty even across the board. If betting line in Las Vegas would be close to a toss-up or maybe giving Kentucky the edge. But again, and I'll make a mental note, I just think the bottom of the lineups, 7, 8, 9 hitters in this series, in all series, is going to be the telltale sign of who's going to move on to the next chapter.
When you stepped away, TB, when David talked about how the others, the 7, 8, 9 guys have to step up. And always in the All-Star game, it's the Royals utility guy batting against the Pirates closer, because it's the others after the big guys have already, and even in like the ALCS, the clutch at bats or the 8th hitter or stuff like that is how many times have we seen stuff like that happen?
Yeah. Now we'll tell you though, Vinny, the bad news for Kentucky is if the starting pitcher for State can get into the 5th inning, State's bullpen is extremely good. If they can get into a 5th, 4th, hopefully 5th inning with a starting pitcher, their bullpen is pretty good. And they had surprising power to me to line up. They hit like 4 home runs against Georgia, I think, the other night. Yeah. But the powers, they beat Georgia bad the first game, took a loss second game, but I haven't seen this type of power from NC State that they showed in the Georgia series for sure.
Because I think, like you said, as far as the bullpen, the ERA for the starters, yeah. So but like you said, if they get through and get to the bullpen, yeah. But if Kentucky can kind of jump on them and first and second inning, and because I think was their ERA like 6 or something as a team.
Yeah. High fives for sure, I think.
So that's key too. Like Greg Maddox, you had to give him the first inning, or you weren't gonna get him.
Yep. And you know what? And like I said, being a baseball player, I thought it's interesting what State was doing the other day with jumping on the first pitch. And that was my philosophy. When I was a hitter, if a good pitcher, especially, if he wanted to get ahead, he's going to try to get me on his first pitch. I'm digging into the batter's box, ready for that first pitch. And if it's not exactly where I want it, I'm off of it. But if he's going to try to get ahead and throw a strike, then I'm gonna hit it hard somewhere. Now after the second at bat, he knows that's my MO. He's not going to come with a strike. He's probably going to throw a ball, and now I got the advantage on him. So, especially that first at bat, you want to take a look at the first pitch. And two, pitchers college not so much. They try to keep the pitch count down as much as possible and throw as many strikes as possible. So first inning is usually that first pitch. Now, the second time around, when batters come around, you might see, well, Dave's the first pitch hitter. I'm going to throw him a little low and outside this time. Well, you're throwing a ball. Now I got the advantage. Now you got to come to me.
Absolutely. So let's go and do score predictions. Might as well. What we think? What we got? And Terry's gonna be there too, Dave. He's gonna be out there.
Good deal.
Jello shooting and who knows what all out there, man.
That's the good thing to be out here in Iowa. I'm only 2 hours away from Omaha, so I told the wife when the Cats started playing well, I said, "Look, if they get to Omaha, I gotta go." Like,
wow!
I always wanted to go to the College World Series, but my team's first visit, I'm like, I kind of gotta go. So I'll be there on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it.
Soak it in, man. That's the main thing. I know, you're gonna be there to do a job. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully, knock on wood. But soak it in. Enjoy it, dude.
Yeah.
The atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like I said, nothing like a college atmosphere on earth, man, of any sport to me.
Absolutely.
And wanted to see some good baseball. So I'm gonna go first and go out on a limb with my bias prediction. And I think there are going to be a lot of jitters, for one. I think kids are going to be nervous. And I think State may be a little older or experienced. And I think the first game, at least, State will win. But I'm thinking, 2 runs maybe. But I do think the excitement will kick in about being in that spot. And teams have to handle that well. The first couple of innings may be a lot of strikeouts going on, or pitchers throwing a lot of balls because, we just, concentrate so much on batters, but pitchers got to throw strikes. And when you're in an environment, it's tough to get the ball over the plate sometime, imagine. So I'm going to go State by 2. I'm going to go 7-5.
That was mine for Kentucky.
Really?
I was thinking 6-4, but my for the Cats, what you were saying, Coach. It's one thing. This is the first ever, and now they've had 4 or 5 days of this excitement. How do you hone back in? That's my concern, especially the first couple of innings with the pitchers and the batters. Like, how do you? Okay, we made it, but we still have games to play, right?
Yeah,
it's like those teams that make that Final Four drought or in that final. Like, you made it, but you still got games to play. So,
and 2 things from a coaching perspective. One, you get your team out there early, out in Omaha, walk around the city, soak some of that, fans, because fans are going to be crazy at hotels, soak some of that stuff in. And 2, playing on a Saturday or Friday games, I would take my team to the stadium to watch an inning or 2 of the Friday games just to soak in that environment. Because you link basketball, they bring their teams out to watch, if there's a team playing before them to, just feel it, So the smart coaches and operations people will probably, the teams got there early. Like I said, do a little downtown stuff, be a college student, soak it in, and then take them out to Friday's games to watch a couple of innings, and then take them back to get their rest and do your pregame stuff, meal, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kentucky left this afternoon, so they're already out there.
Mhm.
So that was, as far as getting there early, they did have a couple of days to. So
And they don't have to
acclimate and
drive
all
that I-80, Vinny. They don't have to drive I-80. That's it. Woo, buddy. Ain't nothing on I-80. I'm telling you that
Nothing
right
there,
now.
huh? Just flat road, huh?
Just nothing but flat out here in the middle of
Oh
the
my
country.
God. Oh, that's good. That is good.
Last time we had you on, Coach, man, we got to talking about your guy David Thompson, and you know how
There you go.
much of a fan of his you were.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
he gave me that signed Sports Illustrated. Here, let me give you a closer look. And
Right.
also, that's the Sports Illustrated right there.
Oh
Signed.
yeah, man.
And then I got this picture he signed autograph for me when he was with the Nuggets.
Man.
But my favorite picture, Vinny, when I was coaching down in Florida, I brought my team to team camp at NC State. So about 3 weeks before camp, I called David. I said, dude, I'd love for you to meet my guys and give them a little pep talk, before camp. I told him so much about you, how you're my idol. He said, let me check his schedule. So he said he couldn't make it, of course. And then a week later, I get this picture in the mail.
Ooh, look at that.
And he signed it there, David O. Thompson, 96 Hall of Fame. It's actually a painting. Yeah, that's what type of dude he is, man. And since he couldn't make it, he just sent me that picture.
That's all right.
And that's my jersey. That's me. That's my 22 right there, my freshman year.
Look at you.
Trivia question. Who else was a famous NC State receiver to wear 22?
22. Wow. I gotta go. First thing popped in my head, Torrey Holt.
No. Well, speaking of Torrey Holt, if you look back at NC State receivers, they got some of the best receivers that come out in college football to go pro. You got Corn Robinson, Holt, my idol, Mike Quick. Mike Quick was 22.
Ooh, wow.
He was a senior when I came in as a freshman. He graduated, and first day of two-a-days, I go to my locker and I'm number 22. Blew my mind. But all pro at the Eagles. Man, I don't know if you know Nas Worthen, but if you look up the NC State receivers, that list is pretty deep, man, in the NFL.
See, I didn't even know Mike Quick went there. I remember with the Eagles as a kid, and of course, being a Cowboys fan, I hate the Eagles. But I just learned that today. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. See,
Mike
you
Quick,
always drop a nugget, man.
Yeah, that watching him when I was in high school, he ran the best. He was tall too. He's about 6'3". He was a hurdle runner at NC State too, won the ACC hurdles. But went on my visit, and Clemson was my other visit, and boiled down to both of those schools, and both of them had 22s because Perry Tuttle was a senior at Clemson the year they won it. And when I came in my freshman year, Coach Ford was like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you 22, yada yada yada." But Coach Kiffin told me, well, Pete Carroll again signed me at NC State, but Coach Kiffin told me, Monty Kiffin, Lane's father, said, if you come to NC State and work hard, you'll start as a receiver as a freshman. So that got me over the hump. Haywood Jeffries, another NC State receiver.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The regional
runner.
And
there's three or four that I'm missing. I'm drawing a blank on, but those just to name a few that they're forgot about because, they went to NC State, not the, Miamis of the world and the Floridas of the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you just schooled us on a couple right now, man.
No, yeah. Good guys too. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to throw that Cowboy plug in there. You got viewership going down for that. That's okay too.
Yeah, it is. So did you?
I got one for TB. So you guys got Patrick Queen, right? Steelers, right? Is TB a Steeler guy?
No, sir. No, sir.
Uh-oh. I thought you were a Steeler guy, TB.
No. We San Francisco out in these parts.
Now, Benny, I'm gonna look at you and say he's not a bandwagoner, is he? Has he always been a guy?
Honestly,
yeah.
Honestly, he's a real one.
Okay. All right. Much respect, TV.
I joined the bandwagon in the 80s. When they were really good when I was growing up. I admit it, they were winning. I was
No, that's the reason as you like them. As a kid, that's the reason why you like teams. I'm a Miami Dolphin to this day because they were the greatest team on earth.
But I've been riding with them through some of those lean years and everything.
Yeah.
I want them to get over the hump this year, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Speaking of lean years, 90, what is it, 96 for you? What is it, TV? I mean, Vinny?
96 for me, but
the last year they won.
But 95 for them. So their draft's longer than ours.
Well, mine is longer than yours, but I got a comeback, so I'm not worried about it. Mine is way back to back too, just like Dallas did. But like I said, we're the only undefeated one team to ever do it. So
the last
74. 74. Yep, 73, 72, 73. You know, that was the last year the Dolphins have won. Now they went with Marino his rookie year and lost to the Redskins, I think, that year. But the drought is long. But I'm a Dolphin dude. And
okay, man.
Yeah.
So were you a Nuggets fan, or did you, for your NBA team, did you just follow what David Thompson went, or who was your?
Wow. Yeah, I follow where David went, but I will tell you, for some strange reason, I became a Phoenix Sun fan. And I tell you when, I know exactly when it happened. When they went in 3 overtimes with the Celtics that game, and Gar Hurd hit a shot, I was a kid, and I loved it. And under the table, I hope a lot of people don't hear this, but Walter Davis was one of my idols too. One, because he was a Davis, no relation, but he went to Carolina. But I love the way he played. I love the way Walter Davis played. They call him the Greyhound for a reason. He was just long, graceful, and did a lot of good things when he was at Carolina. And then I followed him, and of course, he's a leading scorer in Phoenix Suns history to this day. But I've always been a Phoenix Sun basketball fan, of course, because my dad a Dodger fan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
I can relate to the blue. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's not hard on my eyes. The blue and white is good for me. All right. Just know that. It's good for me.
I never knew the NBA. Knew Dodgers and I knew Dolphins, but didn't know about the Suns. So cool.
Grew up, for some strange reason.
We got to transition in, even especially with you on today, but the passing of Jerry West, man. TB is a Lakers fan here, and just, before my time, before TB's time as a player, but his fingerprints are all over the league, man. It's just unbelievable.
And it's unreal because even as a player and a GM, I think he's in the Hall of Fame for both. Like I said, everybody knows he was the logo. The logo was designed after Jerry West. The knock on him being a great player that he was is not as many championships, maybe even with Wilt and those guys, they, didn't win a lot of championships. But one thing people don't see about Jerry West, and I can sum it up in one quote of his: nobody knows about the tenacity he had on the basketball court and as a GM. But one quote that I remember he said, recently you hear a lot of talk about players being dogs. He said, well, I was a wolf. I ate the dog. And that just goes to his competitiveness, and things like that. But he was that guy from Cabin Creek, West Virginia. He was that guy. When it comes in college too, to be honest with you, he was that guy, and everything he's done with the Lakers, and then being as a player and GM, and then Memphis. I think he was Memphis's first GM. I think things he done there for them as far as building that, being part of that, team organization is incredible, and just from everything I've heard. Through talking to guys, he was just a salt of the earth, and basketball was his heartbeat. To no pun intended, but he lived for it, literally.
Talking with a guy I worked today that was a Lakers fan, and I thought he'd be old enough to know, but just the fact that he, I'm like, man, he built the Showtime Lakers, the Shaq and the Kobe. All that as a Heat. All these banners y'all got. He put all the pieces in place, man.
I'll give you another tidbit. He's the only player in NBA history to win a Finals MVP and lose this Finals.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy,
man.
Yeah, within a 3-day period, he drafted Kobe and traded for and signed Shaq. Like that's a pretty good week, right? in '96, that's a pretty good.
Yep.
That's a pretty good couple of days.
Yep.
What'd you do this week? Well, drafted Kobe, signed Shaq. Like that's pretty good.
And to think, being a basketball fan, to where the Lakers are, the turmoil that they're in now, compared to those days, I think a lot of it happened when Dr. Buss died too. It just seemed to unravel at the seam in a lot of ways, on the court, off the court, front office, and things like that. And for this game of basketball, it's tough to watch. I like seeing from a fan's perspective, seeing Boston in the finals. It's good to see a team like that in the finals. But the Lakers brand, I think Jerry West is synonymous with Lakers. He was Mr. Laker.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
And I think that if I heard right, the series they lost to the Knicks, where he won the MVP, he had 42 in Game 7, had 53 in Game 1.
He sure did.
Good gracious.
Before a 3-point line, that's what people have to understand. And not to change subject, but people talk about the Caitlin Clarks of the world scoring all these points in college, yada yada yada. Pete did it in 3 years with no 3-point line.
Yeah. 3
years, not 4. 3 years and no 3-point line. Pete, averaged 43, 45, and 44. Something like that. It was 3 years. Kudos to Caitlin Clark for what she's done, not only in college, but for the game of basketball. But when we talk records, put an asterisk beside those things. To say, asterisk, but Pete did it in 3 with no 3-point line to let the true story come out.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, you told Vinny, got to tell the whole story now.
Vinny try to slide on any on TV.
I pay attention.
No, I get it. We're on Kentucky, network, Wildcat Pride, whatever it is. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna let him get away with it, TV. He gonna stop.
There we go. There we go.
He gonna stop inviting me. I'll go invite the coach back.
You just revoked, man. You banned.
Or send me the wrong link. He's gonna send me the link to some square dance festival in Paducah. He's gonna send me a link to watch a square dance festival instead of being on his show. I love the show, Vinny. You gotta have me back.
How specific was that? He said a square dance festival in Paducah. Man.
Oh, I could say Bowling Green. No offense to Paducah. I think it's a wonderful city, but it just and I could have said Bowling Green. I couldn't think of Bowling Green right off the bat. But he's gonna send. Well, he probably send me a bourbon making video, a link. From Bowling Green or something. I don't know. Vinny, you better send me the right link next time. Just because I gave you a hard time. We still cool.
Absolutely. So you was the first thought, man, when I saw y'all beat Georgia in the Super Regionals. I gotta have Coach on to go back and forth with the Wolfpack and the Cats, man. Just
that's big time.
Couldn't have nobody else on here.
Yeah, that's big time. I appreciate it. Appreciate you thinking about me. It's always my pleasure, man.
Yeah, I always appreciate having you. How's Jackie doing? I'm a big
She's doing good, man. She's downstairs with the dog. We got a French bulldog.
Okay.
So I thought about her coming on saying hello, but that'll be another 30 minutes because she won't stop talking. So we can't do that. Yeah. Oh.
Give her my best. Tell me and Katie and the boys said hey.
And it's weird. Just yesterday, Vinny, I was up here watching the show. And I was trying to get caught up on like the Acolyte, the song now, the Star Wars spinoff, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And she comes up and sits on the sofa and wants to start talking, and her phone starts ringing, and it's John Boy. I yelled out, "Thank you, John Boy." So she walked out, got her phone.
He saved you, didn't he?
Oh yeah. As they say, she gets a little long-winded.
Yeah, that's all right though. Well, shoot, I mean, working with them. She can't get a word in there. She come home and talk to you because she does. Do all the talking there. So,
my God. Yeah, but producing the show, she's more behind the scenes. She doesn't even like to be on it. She has a great voice, but she doesn't like to be on the radio. And John Boy will pull her in sometimes. Now she's doing certain commercials. So if anybody company out there needs a commercial made on the flagship in your satellite station, affiliate station, give her a call or get in contact with me, because now she's opening up. She's done like 4 businesses commercials now. She likes it. She has a great voice. She has a great voice.
That's natural. Yeah. Just trying to be all humble and holding back. And she got it.
She does it. She does it. Yeah. Now, TB, if I may ask, if real quickly on your wall back there, what's the one, the two on your, I guess your left side says "We Are" what right there?
What
on your wall?
My shirt or
yeah, right there.
That is one of the. That's from the women's soccer team. We Are UK.
Okay.
See, a lot of folks just like to focus it on football and basketball, but I've got soccer. I've got I'm trying to do this in the mirror. I've got gymnastics stuff, because the best part for me with covering the team is taking my girls to stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
And seeing I wanted them to see girls and women competing. And letting them know that they could do that. And Vinny, coach, I got to tell you, I've got my oldest is going to Aurora University to play lacrosse. She got a scholarship. So right outside Chicago. So I'm glad I kind of help, kind of let them know, like, you can compete and you can still do all the girl things, but you can go out here and compete at a high level. And they've been able to do that. She was all-state, first team all-state in lacrosse this year in Kentucky. So
good deal.
We're doing all right. Now, my youngest has a goal, Vinny. She told me this weekend. She want to be all-state too. And I'm like, all right, baby.
Here you go. Now, what position does your daughter in lacrosse? What position does she play in lacrosse?
She plays defense. Defense and a little midfield. So she is kind of the defensive. She
likes roughing people up too, huh?
Absolutely. She likes to play physical. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you ought to be a good dad. I know you're a good dad. You be the punching bag for it too. Try some stick work on you.
Yeah, that's the thing. The first time, she got bumped, I said, you can bump them back.
There you
right? If somebody bump you, you can bump them back. And as it's come to pass, as I always say, Vinny, hey, verily, here she is. Got a student athlete, so I'm excited.
Good. And Benny, what are your thoughts on the new coach, the alum? They got an alum back in the saddle for basketball, right?
Yeah, TP and I, we broke all that down, and initially, I kind of had to, wrap my head around it because as you've seen Kentucky, typically when they bring in a coach, he's already done a little something at his previous stop. Rick Pitino took Providence to the Final Four. Eddie Sutton had Arkansas in the Final Four. Tubby had Georgia, gave that Syracuse team all they want with John Wallace in the Sweet 16.
And I think Tulsa, he took him to the dance in Tulsa too.
Because Tulsa had Tubby and Bill Self.
Now, was Pelfrey the head coach there?
He was at Arkansas for a little bit.
But I'm talking about at Kentucky.
No, not the head coach.
Gotcha.
I forget. I think he was assistant. Is he at Mississippi State or something now?
Yeah. But they usually bring in the marquee guy with already, resume.
And we all, for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I knew Mark Pope was out there coaching. I knew he was at Utah Valley. He came and played the Cats at Utah Valley and gave him a good game.
Yeah.
And I also thought, he's out there at BYU, but he ain't really set the world on fire like that. To me. Yeah. And so when it went from Dan Hurley to Billy Donovan to Mark Pope, and I was like, but then he's come in and kind of put a squad together pretty quick, and so he's getting guys to fit what he wants to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's almost good in a way, the transfers, like DeJuan, the guys leaving, don't get me wrong, because now the new coach can, like you said, put his fingerprint on it, have his guys, his style, brand of basketball, recruit, that kid. It may not have been some of those guys who were here at Kentucky before, So, it's a process. Don't get me wrong. I think fans, will probably be satisfied, but they have to be patient also. Because like I said, with losing a guy like Calipari and some of those players, who are going to hit the road, Dillingham, Shepard's had a great NBA offseason, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he outdid himself in a vertical jump. He didn't know he could jump that higher, but he said it himself. He said, that's got to be wrong. But things like that. And now this new coach has a chance to, make it his. But again, fans have to be patient. I know, the eagerness and anxiousness can sit in when it comes to fans wanting to win right now. That's the microwave society. Everybody wants it right now instead of putting it in a bowl, preheating the oven, putting it in the oven, letting it bake for 20, 30 minutes and bringing it out. They want it right now. But I think if the Kentucky fans can be patient and support him in a positive way, it could be very good for him.
My only issue, Coach, was I was at UK the same time as Mark Pope. And so we roughly the same age. And my whole mindset is the head coach of Kentucky, that's an old person's job. and my wife pointed out, you're getting to be an old person now.
Yeah, what are you saying about yourself,
gripe.
TV? Yeah.
Like,
what are you telling on yourself, dude? What are you saying about yourself?
Is he old enough to coach the team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they have to be patient with him. I think, and support him.
So whatever. I'm excited.
Yeah, good. I'm excited to watch it, man. Excited to watch it.
It'll be that time before we know it, man.
Yes, sir.
This this playing baseball till June just shortens the dead period of the summer. Usually you're already, which we're NBA guys and we keeping up with that anyway. But normally you're waiting on fall camp to start, and now there's just NASCAR and golf, and then nothing happening. But this little College World Series thing is bridging the gap a little bit.
It sure is, and the excitement of it,
Yeah.
I don't want to put it on the same level, but it's like we watched the women's basketball, the NCAA tournament. That same excitement, I think, is flooded over to translated into the College Baseball World Series and softball too, by the way. With the excitement of people wanting to watch it, is very, very good. And like you said, it gives us it eats into some of that down period, because soon we're going to have NFL. NBA playoffs will go into July. Well, they got another 3 weeks, so to speak. And then we're going to 1 month go into a month and a half in the NFL football. And like you said, we got the holdovers, golf, NASCAR, and things like that. Which I by the way, I watch every NASCAR race too.
Okay.
Kind of felt bad for Blaney 2 weeks ago, run out of gas. I mean, who does that? I was waiting to hear news pit crew chief fired. I don't get that. And then last week with Larson's winning, I don't think he even expected. He runs good on road courses. Well, he runs good on any course, but the young kids get on those simulators at a young age and they drive these courses, then they can do it with their eyes closed. And everybody can get on a simulator, but I think the younger kid, it's like Reddick, Larson's, Elliott, those guys get on those things at an early age, and they've ran these courses in their mind and physically in a simulator for years. And it's paying off. Yeah.
Making it less difficult to actually step into the car, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Because it's almost been there, done that.
Wow.
All those 11 turns, the hairpins and all that good stuff, especially road courses, they like I said, they've been there, done that. And you got to realize road courses haven't been around for a long time, or a biggest part as the points as they are now. Mm-hmm. They even turned Charlotte's into a roval, track. Another road.
What?
They call it the roval.
What is
Instead
that?
of the oval, they call it a roval, where they made it a road track.
Really?
You got to go to the infield and come out and all that good stuff.
Wow.
So a lot of they're putting more emphasis on to say, if you're going to be a Cup Series winner, you have to learn to win on all courses, all types of courses.
Which that's
good.
That's a good thing too. Yeah, I think that's mix it up a little bit instead of a mile and a half track every week. Yeah, mile and a half. Kansas.
Yep.
When they used to come to Kentucky, which we wish they come back to Kentucky, but just the same kind of track every week. I think they should mix it up. You're right. I don't keep up with it like you, but
they got the super speedways, of course, and then they got like the Dovers, the Poconos, the short round tracks. But they want drivers, and now the road courses, they want drivers to be a true champion. And driving on all tracks.
And I know weather plays a role, but
Mhm.
I always thought, and because I'm just very, very casual,
Mhm.
but I'm like, why does Homestead get to be the last one every time? Why can't some other track go to Phoenix for the last race this year? It's warm there and it's a different, change it up. Go to Texas or let that be the final one. I don't know.
Yeah, Homestead has been the final one, and weather, has a lot to do with it. But then again, Homestead's a newer track too. It hadn't been around as long as the ones we know and grew up and love, of course. And I think that it hasn't been around long, but up until recently, they made it the last race every year. And Super Speedway. A lot of guys like that. A lot of guys prefer the Super Speedways and the road races and the Poconos of the world. Bristol's a great track.
Yeah.
So in Kentucky, they did lose it. They went back to North Wilkesboro. They do an all-star race in North Wilkesboro now. But I think that's more nostalgic because that's one of the original tracks back in the old days that the Richard Petty's and Bobby Allison's and Buddy Baker's used to drive on. So that's why they revamped it just for one race, and it's an all-star race.
Man, you just schooling us up on everything, man.
I try. Absolutely. My dad used to say, know a little about a lot of things instead of a lot about one.
Yep, I've heard that before too, man. Yep. Well, Coach, man, we can't thank you enough.
Pleasure's mine.
It's not, our season doesn't end. Whoever loses is, it's double elimination. So, but we still can't wish you all the best Saturday. We can wish you the best Monday after we play y'all.
Yeah,
going for it.
And I will too. I wish Kentucky the best. I just want them to get one less run in 2 games. If they, if we score 11 and Kentucky scores 10, congratulations to Kentucky. Wish you luck. But we don't want Tennessee to win. That's for sure, right?
Absolutely, we can all agree on that.
Okay, we can. You're exactly right. And I don't want Carolina to win. Can I get your backing on that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. I ain't never reading for that. Oh yeah.
There's so much baby blue I can take. Boy.
I hear you. I'm with you.
Unbelievable. All right, guys. I greatly appreciate you guys, man. Have me on and
thank you, Coach.
And talking with you. And just let me know when you need me again. I'm here, Vinny. TB, take it easy and enjoy yourself this weekend, man. It'll be a good time for you.
Oh, I'm going. I got a game plan, so I'm gonna enjoy as much of it as I can.
You said Jello shots, Vinny. What's the Jello shots? You said
they got a
bar in Omaha that keeps track of all the teams and the amount of Jello shots they buy. And I think LSU won it last year.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, imagine LSU winning.
Come on.
I
didn't see that on FanDuel. If I see it, what school drunk the most Jello shots, I'm going LSU and bet $1,000 on it.
My thing is put a little bourbon in there. Let's see what happens with these Kentucky fans. We might make a dent in that. We'll see. But I am going to that place, Vinny.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got to check that off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, please, share pictures too, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pictures that need to be shared on social media. No, you with your shirt on, shorts on, you're fully clothed. First of all, okay? Eyes open, mouth closed too.
I can't do nothing. I still got to come back home now. Like I got to behave.
That's right. Doors will be locked.
That's right.
No, but I appreciate you guys. Enjoy it and safe travels to TV. And Benny, just let me know when we're back. Okay. We'll make it happen.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Take care. You're good.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy, David
Where's
Davis.
My button, man, here, Vinny. I lost my button.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, good deal.
Yes, sir. Michelle's tag team partner. Michelle had his back. Coach always coming here, man. Dropping knowledge, NASCAR schooling us up on everything, man. It's like you always do.
But this has been a heck of a season by NC State. Mark Story tweeted that out because I had forgotten or I wasn't thinking about, College World Series and both men's and women's basketball to the Final Four. And they had that big bowl game. So, so tip your hat to the Wolfpack. They get forgotten about. But then when you think about it, I'm like, I know who David Thompson is, know, and you know about Jimmy V, and Phillip Rivers, like there's a weirdly high amount of NC State people that you're aware of. right?
Yeah.
In teams that have won and different things like that. So not a bad place to be. But in North Carolina, your Dukes and your UNCs are going to get the bulk of that.
Yeah, they do. They do. I got to switch real quick before we wrap up to an event that you're a huge fan of. It's coming up. I don't really even keep up with it, but what's going on with your boy Joey Chestnut? What is the
So
scandal?
literally, I just had this up on my phone. Joey Chestnut. I saw yesterday he's not going to be at the 4th of July Nathan's hot dog contest, and I was like, that's weird because so he's going 1-on-1 with Kobayashi, who was the Joey Chestnut before Joey Chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
They are going head to head Monday, September 2nd. It's going to be broadcast live on Netflix. And yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild.
Thanks a lot.
Being a competitive eating fan like I am, it's ridiculous, man. Like it is. I have watched way more competitive eating than anybody probably should.
Yeah, you're aficionado on that, man.
But before Joey Chestnut took it over, it was Kobayashi. And the hot dogs get all the attention, right? Because that's going to be on ESPN, and my man George with the old Carnival Barker outfit will be there hyping people up. That's always great. I want that man to give me an introduction because it is fantastic. But look, I like the other stuff. Like whatever you think about, you may like. Some person has consumed a crazy quantity of that. And my favorite, this has been some years ago. It was the World Series of competitive eating. So each round you had to eat a different something. Kobayashi won the hot dog round. Somebody won the hamburger round. They had one that was spicy. Sushi. I couldn't think of that.
Okay.
Spicy sushi. My favorite was mayonnaise. And I kid you not, they just put mayonnaise like in a pie plate and you had to. And so the color commentator was Tom Arnold. I forget who the play-by-play person was. And the strategy for mayonnaise is not really a solid, not really a liquid. So you have to approach it a different way. And I'm like, I am intrigued. I watched a man eat 5 pie plates full of mayonnaise, just straight mayonnaise.
Oh my God.
My favorite is Sonia Thomas, the Black Widow. She was like 5'98", and she out here competing with the big dogs. And you think that maybe the bigger you are, that's not always good because your stomach can't expand. I have spent way more thinking about this than the average person. That's why
the homie Booker never won, right? Badlands Booker would never win.
He would never win hot dogs, but he ate his thing. If I'm remembering correctly, he ate a lot of spicy stuff. His thing was like spicy and kind of weird kind of stuff like that. But there was a guy who won the jalapeno peppers eating contest. I watched a documentary. I'm telling you, I've seen more than the average person about this. And the interviewer was like, well, that just sounds painful. He's like, no, it really isn't. Because at some point, everything just goes numb, right? After 50 hot peppers, everything's numb, right? He said, but it's like the next day when your tears are burning and like everything is burning from the peppers, he said, that's a little rough. I'm like, yeah, gracious.
Because it come out the same way it go in, right?
Yeah. But you can't have a reversal of fortune in these, and that's if it. You got to keep it. You got to keep it all down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen way more competitive eating stuff. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
So they're doing this September Netflix thing. Joey and Kobayashi. First of all, what's Kobayashi been doing since he got dethroned? He's still just lower level winning competitions, or he just tired?
he became a freelancer, and he doesn't participate in events sanctioned by the world. What is it? Hold on, let me make sure I get this accurate. The World Competitive Eating League or whatever it is. So he does stuff. He's still going out eating ridiculous amounts of food, but he's not doing it in sanctioned events.
So Joey was banned because why?
He signed with a non-meat hot dog, and that's you got to eat it. You got to eat Nathan's. That's the thing.
So he costed himself money. I mean, well, I guess he'll make it all back with his Netflix thing, I guess.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, we're still 3 weeks out from the 4th of July, so I gotta believe they're gonna try to, because Joey Chestnut is kind of competitive eating.
Yeah, I mean, the ratings gonna go down without Joey there. I mean, he was at Ole Miss's spring game eating. I guess he's been trying to do other stuff, but man.
Well, yeah, he goes around. He eats all kinds of stuff. Bratwurst, like he it's not just hot dogs. But the crazy thing is, again, I've watched a documentary about competitive eating. Is they have to, when you get that full sensation and your body's like, I'm good. Like they have to power through that. And what eventually happens is they break that part of their brain, and hunger, like they don't feel hungry. Like it is the strange. They don't feel full and they don't get hungry. Like they
either.
Yeah, they've just broke a lot of them. You have to just You have to just break it, and it's the craziest thing.
I get the not feeling full and breaking through that, but they don't even get hungry.
Like because they're set up. I mean, think about it. Most of us, I mean, if you don't count, like we eat when we're hungry. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Or you condition yourself. Got to get my breakfast. Got to get my lunch. Got to get my dinner. Right. But they don't have that. Most of them. I won't say all of them, but they break it because they'll start eating and training because that's what they have to do. It's insane. And I just
sensation. Sensation.
Yeah, they were talking to this doctor. He's like, "Yeah, this is the craziest thing. Like, this is like this medical doctor's like, this is. I don't understand." He was just horrified. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm into it, but like I said, I like the mayonnaise because that's just like, wow, that's a lot of mayonnaise, right? Like 5 of the big pie plates full of mayonnaise. Like that's a lot of mayonnaise, and even the hot dogs. I mean, just think about it. 60 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. That mayonnaise
and the peppers and yeah. Like I don't know how you would keep it down. Anyway, it's a lot. I have spent a lot of time on competitive eating. And a lot of time on the World Rock, Paper, Scissors Championships. I will save that for another time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in that as well. It's a whole thing.
I didn't even know that was. Wow.
Yeah. But that goes. You remember before ESPN got all fancy with all these? They got the NBA and NFL. I remember when ESPN would show weird stuff on ESPN2, 11 o'clock at night. You're like, I will watch the lumberjack games.
Yeah.
I will watch this. I will watch cricket. I will. What is Australian rules football? Sign me up. ESPN, go back to your roots. Stop giving me Screaming A. Smith. And yeah. ESPN is just terrible when it comes to these big games.
I remember. Yes, and speaking of, there they are. And they brought Paul George in today because Josh Hart wasn't cutting it. So Paul George coming in trying to it's just, oh man. But ESPN, man, Sunday morning, Lee Haney used to be on there working out, Mr. Olympia. He had his show on. I used to love to work out. My dad bought me some Lee Haney workout gloves, had the Velcro around the wrist. I was in there doing my little curls, my little deltoids, and my squat.
Yeah.
Lee Haney Mr. Olympia workout gloves because he was on that's what was on ESPN, man. That kind of stuff. Like so the rock, paper, scissors though, that kind of perked my ear up. I might have to see what that's about because everybody loves to mess around with that, just
but it's the official rock, paper, scissors, it's best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
And so there's strategy to it. Like if you throw rock 3 straight times, that's an avalanche, right?
Okay.
If you throw paper 3 straight times, that is, what do they call it? The lawsuit, because you got all that paper, right?
Okay.
If you do paper, scissors, that's called the paper dolls because you got the right. So I'm kidding. At one point, I did have the official book on rock, paper, scissors. Like, yeah.
Is it 3? What's 3 straight scissors? What's that?
I'm trying to. I think that was like the tool chest or something like that because you had 3 straight scissors. Oh yeah. But I always thought about the avalanche.
And that's allowed though, right? You can't if it's legal.
Yeah. You could. Yeah, if that's your whole thing, you want to come with it. Yes. All these kind of weird things. Yes, I have seen. Yes.
Now I don't know about you because everybody do rock, paper, scissors in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. That's just we would get elaborate and stupid. You'd had the rock, paper, scissors. There was also like a little fuse for dynamite. If you got scissors would cut the fuse off the dynamite, and scissors would win. We had cups of water. You could pour water on the scissors that make the scissors rusty. We had rain.
That's not official. That's not officially sanctioned.
We weren't sanctioned.
RPS. That's not official. When we get done, I'm gonna send you the link to the book. I've lost it into my moves, but yeah, I did have a rock, paper, scissors, the official guidebook. I'll send it to you.
Man, unbelievable.
I'm not making this up. I have done that, and I have. My wife hates the competitive eating, but she lets me watch it. And Michelle asked if she's coming. She is not. So I'm going to take Omaha by storm myself.
Wait. Look out for Omaha. Saturday will never be the same.
We'll see.
So yeah, man, hope the Cats win. Oh, speaking of, we talked about the horrible coverage for ESPN. The fellas are walking in, Jaylen Brown and the players are walking in. You and I last week, we talked about, and we had JR on with us and said, Kristaps Porzingis hadn't played in 40 days, 10, 12 games, and to throw him right back in the finals might, be problematic. Now, he, of course, went out there and was out of his mind, the first couple games, but now this leg injury, a couple games after we thought, but it comes back to bite him, and you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but Dallas is kind of maybe breathe a little sigh of relief because they had no answer for the Celtics.
Dallas has to play defense, and that's the thing is Luka ain't even getting in people's way. I mean, a couple of those drive-bys, he never turned his hips as if he was going to follow that person. That can't continue.
Yeah.
I do admire Jerry West saying, "I'm gonna get out of here before I watch the Celtics win another championship."
Boston up 2-0, and Dan Hurley said no. I was thinking about it all day. I didn't tweet it, but I was like, everybody thinking.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it. Yeah, like that's the because he hated Boston. And that was the thing is he made every generation of Lakers that like we are going to beat Boston. Look, we've talked about this before. I'm a Lakers fan. I've read lots of books on the Lakers. A lot of folks just think that the Lakers became the Lakers simply because they were in LA, but a lot of work went into that. And part of that was Elgin Baylor. The other part was Jerry West, who loved being a Laker and making the Lakers a thing again when there was just the Dodgers and the Lakers out there. out west. You remember that? You have to remember there was a stretch. It was just the two of them, kind of west of St. Louis. For a lot of this stuff. So, what he meant to the Lakers organization is immeasurable. The Lakers are not the Lakers without Jerry West. The NBA is not the NBA without Jerry West. I mean, from being the logo and having his fingerprints, don't forget, after his stint in Memphis, he was one of those nebulous assistant to the GM in Golden State.
He helped them get a dynasty.
So, I mean, as a player, we know what he did. And as a GM front office person, I mean, that's 3 dynasties. He's helped, either was the lead architect or he was right there when it got done. That's and the biggest thing to me is he was able to get egos under control. He was the one that kind of made sure Kareem got in line when that young Magic showed up. He was the one. And you can tell when things went off the rail with Shaq and Kobe, I was after Jerry West left.
Yeah.
He was the voice in the room that would keep the egos at bay. Because his presence is missed because, this LeBron era, you and I have talked about it. Championship, yes, but man, it feels like we could have had more. Right? The thing is, post Jerry West, he was the biggest star. There was no one that was going to outdo him in the Lakers organization, whether it was Magic, Shaq and Kobe, whoever it was. I'm Jerry West, and this is how it's going to get done. And once he left, that's why the Lakers have really been in disarray, to be honest with you, comparatively speaking.
Because, I mean, how you going to flex on Jerry West as a player? And then, look, I signed you. I drafted you.
Yeah.
I'm the reason you're here.
Yeah, his thing is, I built this. I can build. You can be a part of this. So just a huge loss. Just for his family, obviously, but he's a Lakers legend. Yeah. I know he did other stuff, but he is Mr. Laker, and I know people will, because I will rank my top Lakers, right? But for me, I go with the dudes that their entire career were Lakers, right? Like I'm gonna have Magic, I'm gonna have Kobe, I'm gonna have Elgin Baylor, I'm gonna have Jerry West on that team. That's just how I operate. But he was a dude among dudes. I don't have any my NBA stuff. He's the logo.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It sure is. Yeah, 80. And just proof that if he couldn't get the Clippers a championship, can't nobody help him. I mean, he even went over there and gave him some of his time and energy and all
so
that.
So did Elgin Baylor. Got that stank on him too. Look, man, the Clippers, this is the only difference you need to understand the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers got a prestige HBO show. The Clippers are on Hulu. The Lakers show, Winning Time. The Clippers show about how dysfunctional they are. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's it, man.
Clippers taking over LA. Get out of my face, man. Like, I mean, that's just, and it probably stinks if you've got two teams in one city where one is obviously the favorite, but come on, man. People become Clippers fans because they couldn't get Lakers tickets.
That's true. That's true.
Like,
you are not lying about that.
And they make that their whole identity, right? Like the Mets, their whole thing, their celebrity fans are like how terrible they are. The Yankees fans are obnoxiously about pointing to the rings. And it's the same way with the Clippers. We're lovable losers. No, y'all just losers.
Yeah.
Right? And, it's like the Cubs and the White Sox. Both of them had 90+ years drought without winning. Chicago is a Cubs town.
Yeah.
Despite the White Sox having the most iconic cap in baseball history, it's the Cubs, man.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the Jets and the Giants. Both of those teams are terrible. Aaron Rodgers not showing. Look, man, that dude don't want to do football. But
So, like,
whatever.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, but it was important to him. It's important to us. What are you even saying? What does that even mean, Salah? It's he. But then he chose however he put it. He put more emphasis on being where he was at than with us. He made sure he let the media know that he wasn't happy with it. But then at the same time, if it's important to him, it's important to us.
I want Salah to do well. You know, former DC and San Francisco. I want him to do well, but whatever. I am not an there. When it's all said and done, you know, and you and I've talked about different levels. Like he's going to the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep.
But he's going to be on one of those. Shouldn't he have done more than what he did? And it wasn't because of injury.
Uh-huh.
It was because he may be an idiot.
Yeah.
He could play quarterback, right? But this dude may be an idiot.
Maybe.
Look, I know a lot of Green Bay fans. I'd be mad as hell to go almost 40 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks in 2 titles.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because you got one, he all about the YOLO ball.
Yeah.
Right? And then Aaron Rodgers, he 0-2 against Jimmy G.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
like, come on, man.
that's rough. That is rough.
If he had led just one more field goal drive that game in Green Bay, they would have won. But whatever.
Couldn't do it. Oh, another good show. I gotta mention too that, you know, the incident in Atlanta yesterday, the Peachtree Center incident at the food court, the shooting that happened down in Atlanta.
I was traveling yesterday. I spent most of my time in the Charlotte airport of all places, but I did see the same place where that guy told me the Cowboys were going to lose that playoff game for it. Brought back some memories.
Yeah, happy memory. But my 2 aunts were victims in that.
Oh, man.
My dad's younger sisters, my Aunt Donna and my Aunt Debbie, and they had my cousin CJ's daughter, so their little great niece. The 2 of them just taking her to Centennial Park, letting her play, letting her get the water and all that. Were to go to the food court. She wants some pizza. Been talking about getting some pizza. And they go in, and that's when it just breaks out. But fortunately, the both of them are okay. The little girl, Zaria, did not get hit. I talked to my Aunt Debbie just before we came on, and she was in good spirits. Donna's in a little bit of pain, but they're both going to be fine. So just
that's
crazy, emotional week. I ain't trying to bring the show down. We had a great show. And then, you know, today's the 3rd anniversary of my dad passing. So he had that. So not trying to bring it all down, enjoyed everything. But I could not say nothing
absolutely
about, because, you know, I had people messaging us, hey, was the people, were you with your family in the shooting? Because they've been in Atlanta for years. Had some, you know, Atlanta news people reaching out, because my aunt's done some interviews from the news stations, and Joe had a news guy reaching out to me, are you related? And so I called my aunt. I'm like, hey, she said this channel was talking to me. And I said, well, this other channel called me asking if I was related. Do you want to? I wasn't going to just say, hey.
Right.
So that whole thing. So, yeah, but thankfully my aunts are doing okay, and my little cousin is all right, but just crazy, man. Crazy. And just like that.
Like that. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but We had a good show. I'm gonna be watching for you in the suite. I'm gonna be checking the Omaha news for the Jello shot report. We'll see what see what. But no, the
Yeah.
big Blue Nation gets to go to Omaha and show out like we do for every other event, and so it's history, man. It's history.
Well, and Tom Hart said, somebody he worked with said they didn't think that Kentucky fans would show up. Like, man, we show up 20,000 strong for a pep rally. They're gonna show up. They're going to show up. Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on. We show up. We show up at bowl game. Like, come on now.
Yep. So
there's one thing you can say about Kentucky fans is they are invested, man.
Yes, absolutely. So you can be all up among it. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. And hey, it's that Saturday first College World Series game in the history of UK baseball. You're gonna be in the house, man. So
I'll be there. Yeah. I'm gonna get up real early and make that drive on over and get there, and I'm gonna take it all in. Like I said, I thought about covering, but like, no, I gotta soak this in. I'm got a list of Kentucky folks I want to meet up with, and I just want to take it all in, man.
That's it, man. Well, have fun. We've been rooting for you from afar and pull them cats on past the Wolfpack and whoever's next. Let's just have an extended stay on out there in the middle of Nebraska, man.
Omaha.
That's right.
Let's go, baby.
Absolutely. So on that note, man, great show. Thanks again to David Davis, friend of the show, coming in, talking Wolfpack and with Jerry West and NFL and all things on those topics. Appreciate the BS3 Network and Ben Sutterth, Michelle with the comments. Everybody that listens and watches, appreciate it. TB, be safe, have a good trip, and happy you getting to go out there, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll be watching for you on the Twitter streets because, we'll see all the pictures you post. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I'll be posting from the Cats Talk account as well.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. So y'all follow TV. Appreciate y'all checking us out. We'll be back next week to talk about the World Series and all that good stuff and TB's travels.
Yes, sir.
Y'all join us next week. We'll holler at y'all then. Appreciate you.